Yo, what is up, people? In today's video, we're going to be talking about the question, is there any point in trying to predict future trends? Now, right off the bat, what are the three things that you need to handle in this question? Future trends, prediction of these future trends, trying to predict these future trends, and whether or not there is any point at all. Because after all, most people think that the future is unpredictable, so why bother predicting the unpredictable in the first place? So let's address the really obvious issues up front. There is a whole market out there dedicated to predicting where the stock market will hit in the year 2015, 2016, in the future, right? There is also a whole set of software and tools and websites dedicated to predicting which horse will win in the next horse racing event. Some people say that it depends, it's very unpredictable for horse racing. Some people say they can predict it with reliable accuracy. I don't know much about horse racing, but for these stock and financial markets, I am quite sure there are a group of people who have consistently beat market returns. And what it is that they have consistently outperformed the stock market. So how we know that the stock market, like the benchmark for stock performance, is basically they have some kind of industrial average, like the Dow Jones Industrial Average. You have the Standard & Poor's Index, and fund managers who have consistently managed to outperform these indices. Basically, these are the guys who have made it a job of predicting future trends and who have successfully done so. One very famous name that comes to mind is Warren Buffett. He has been outperforming the market for ever since he started trading, and he's one of the world's richest men today because of that. So if you ask Warren Buffett, you think there's any point in predicting future trends, I would think he would say yes, very much so. It has made me my million dollar fortune, made me one of the richest men, if not the richest. He used to be the richest man in the world, right? So from a financial perspective, being able to predict future trends brings about economic profit. So why not? Definitely a lot of point in doing that, if you can do it right, that is. Another example would be global weather patterns. And if you haven't already realized, the scientists have been tracking the temperatures of our globe, our Earth, and what they have discovered is that it is increasingly rising. So this is what we call global warming. You know that, right? And the whole problem with global warming is that if this trend continues, scientists then predict that there will be a lot of climate change, which we're already experiencing now. But more than that, there will be natural disasters, droughts, thunderstorms, typhoons in all sorts of different places. In the Singaporean context, we as a country predicted that there would be a trend whereby water prices, water is scarce, so it will be more and more difficult to get our hands on this scarce resource. That there will be a trend of warmer weather and less water being available for us Singaporeans, which is why we work to come up with solutions such as new water, such as desalination. So while it was at that point in time in the past, the future seemed hazy, a little bit unpredictable, but because they bothered to predict these future trends of water shortages, what happened was that the government stepped up and developed solutions to these problems. And today we can safely say that with new water, with desalination, with the new reservoirs at the Marina Barrage, we are increasingly more and more self-reliant for our drinking and our clean water needs. So if we didn't bother to predict, if we felt that there was no point in predicting these future trends of water shortages in the past, we'll probably still be trying to buy a lot of water from Malaysia, and then this would be a huge problem of national security. They could turn off the tap anytime, they could charge us exorbitant prices for our water. But no, someone in their infinite wisdom in the past decided to look at the future trends and say, hey, we might have this trend of water shortages becoming a problem. Let's work to solve it. So while some people say that there is a lot of uncertainty in the future, I say that if you work to bring in certainty into that uncertainty, then these future trends, like, you know, it will be a lot less uncertain and a lot safer for yourself and the people you care about. Now let's talk about some predictions that have gone horribly wrong, or actually hilariously wrong. Our dear friend Thomas Watson, chairman of IBM, back in the old days, predicted, and I quote him, "I think there is a world market for maybe 5 computers." And this was him back in the day. There's a world market for 5 computers from IBM. And these are the guys who are creating ThinkPads, these are the guys who are creating laptops, and if you look around yourself, the computers everywhere today. So clearly for a guy like him, his prediction of future trends was really quite pointless. And mostly because it was made on unresearched predictions. It was like his intuition, maybe his ego as the chairperson of IBM, the chairman of IBM. Maybe he thought he was the cleverest dick alive. Another prediction that has gone pretty off the charts. The Western Union internal memo from 1876, back in the days before when the telephone was first invented. They say, "This telephone has too many shortcomings to be seriously considered as a means of communication." That was 1876. Now, as you all know today, the telephone, every one of you, at least most of you, have some form of telephone for communications. But bear in mind, this was 1876 when no one had even thought about the possibilities of the mobile phone. So while it might have been true in that context, with, you know, it might have been more possible, today we can see that this prediction was very inaccurate. It was way off the charts. So how then do we decide if there is any point in predicting future trends? My answer to this is simple. Whether or not there is any point in predicting future trends really just depends on the accuracy of your prediction, the reliability of your information sources, the dependency on the prediction models that you use, how accurate they have been in the past. So, are you using scientific means of coming to your prediction, or are you basically just plucking things out of thin air, basing things off your intuition? And do your predictions actually help solve a possible problem in the world today, or are they just, armchair, you're just being an armchair critic, or someone just trying to imagine the future for no practical reason? So these predictions, do they help or do they hinder you in your life? I think that is what makes your prediction useful or not useful, and therefore from there you can decide whether or not there is a point in trying to predict the future. I hope you enjoyed the video, and as usual, the links to whatever I talked about are in the description below. Have a good day.